Hey snowmobilers, welcome to part 2 of the shock absorber upgrade project that I've got going on. In part 1, I upgraded the front suspension. In part 2, I'm going to upgrade the rear suspension. These are really nice shocks. I'm very impressed with the quality of these things. They are a very nice shock. The valving on them wasn't the greatest from the factory. So they got sent out to Suspension Pros in Wisconsin. They came back with both compression valving and rebound valving. So I thought it was a good deal to have these redone. They have very fast turnaround. I like Suspension Pros a lot, working with them. Very good people, very good technicians. We'll put these rear shocks on. I got a couple other things to do with the rear suspension. We're going to do that next, coming up. Okay, first thing we need to do is get the rear suspension removed from the snowmobile. And to do that, the first step is to raise the back of the snowmobile up. This is kind of how I do it because it's a little bit more convenient to do it this way. Then the next thing is to loosen the track tension bolts. There's one on each side, and all I'm doing is I'm loosening them as far as they'll go without removing them. You do not need to take these off. After you do that, then loosen the bolts that hold the rear wheels on. Now there's a bolt on either side, or there's a bolt on either side. There's a shaft that runs between them. And you can see here I've got one hand, maybe you barely see it. I've got one hand on one side, one hand on the other side as I'm loosening this. And I just want to loosen it. All I need to do is get it loose enough that it will slide forward and release all the tension on the track. Now you can see that the track is drooping down here. That means the tension has been released. And now there's two bolts, one on each side. They're up here. On the Arctic Cat snowmobiles, they have what they call a slide action rear suspension. And those have a kind of a cradle kind of deal up in front here. And you do not need to loosen the front bolts to get the rear suspension out. It pivots on a shaft. So here I am, I've got both sides loosened, and there's a nut on the back side of this. You can see here that what appears to be a nut, and on the back side of that is kind of flat edges that I can use to put a wrench around. I used a 7/8 inch wrench because it was the closest thing I had to the right size. So here I was able to remove those bolts, and I just let it drop the rest of the way. That's why you don't need to raise the rear suspension up very high. You just need to get it high enough there's no pressure on the track. Once you get that removed, then you can tip the snowmobile on its side, swing the track and rear suspension out towards the camera. And as you do that, you'll find that it's a lot easier to take the rear suspension out. What I'm using to hold the snowmobile up at this point is something like this. And a handlebar stand just allows the handlebar to lean on this post here. This is one way of doing it. I don't particularly like it, but it's what I had. This is probably a better solution. This is a lot easier on the stem of the handlebars. They make a great solution. This was at Heydays. I saw them there, called the Sidekick. It's a great idea, and I think this would be a better solution if you don't have a handlebar stand of some kind. This is what I would recommend. So that's all I have to do to remove the rear suspension. Now let's get into what we do next. All right, so here we are with the rear suspension sitting outside the snowmobile. Okay, just a couple pieces of terminology here before we continue. This is the rear track shock, and this is the front track shock. Okay, here's the tail of the torsion spring for the rear track shock. And what I wanted to point out here is that in order to get this, release the tension on this spring, what you really need to do is remove that cradle. And you can see there's a bolt. My finger's kind of pointed at the nut on the other side of the bolt there. So we're going to remove that in order to loosen up that spring. And of course, that idler wheel there is going to have to come off in order to get at this cradle and remove that. Now, one other thing that I'll point out here is that there's these two bars on either side of the shock, and you can see that the bottom of those bars is using the same bolt as the shock absorber. So we're going to pull all that apart, and we just need to make sure that we get it all back together. It's not like there's a secret way of reattaching everything. We just need to make sure, it's just an extra piece that we need to add when we're done. Okay, on the front track shock, there's a coil spring, and then just like the front suspension, there's a pair of adjustment nuts here. Spin them all the way down to the bottom, and that'll release the tension on that spring and make it easy to remove the shock. This is a picture. You can see how many idler wheels we have. We actually have 6 of them. There's a pair of outside wheels and there's a pair of inside wheels here. So we're going to have to remove all of those in order to get all of this taken apart. All right, while we're here, we're looking at the front track shock. What I'm pointing to here is the sleeve. This shaft runs from one rail to the other, and there's a bolt that runs through there. The shaft is aluminum and it has a reputation for bending. In my case, you can see it looks pretty straight from here, but if this were to bend at all, it could be catastrophic, because what we don't want is for this shock to get pushed down and rub on the track. So I've got a steel shaft that will go in there, but what we're looking at is this outside. There's a pair of sleeves and then washers, and this is just here to keep the shock centered, and inside of that is the shaft that runs all the way across here. All right, to take the idler wheels off, it's pretty easy. There's just a bolt on one end and a nut on the other end. You just unbolt it and they slide right off. Here we go. We've got the skid on its side, or rear suspension on its side, and that's what I'm going to do here is just remove all 6 of those wheels. And there you can see I'm holding onto the bolt that keeps the wheel fastened to the rear suspension. There isn't really a front or a back to these wheels. They're just wheels. They have a bearing on the inside, and so they just bolt right up here, and there's nothing you have to worry about there as far as there's no tricks to putting that back together. Next step to get the front track shock off is going to be to release that spring tension. And so here I've loosened up those nuts, and now I'm make sure there isn't any tension on that spring. Once I do that, then I'm going to remove the top bolt from the front track shock and get that out of the way so that's loose. And then it's easiest just to tip it upside down. And here you can see there's a bolt that runs all the way through that shaft. So I've got a ratchet on both ends to remove that. Once that's out, with everything else clear, so there's, the idler wheels are gone, and the front, the upper bolt for the front track shock is removed. So now all I have to do is give this a little bit of a twist, and it will pop right out. And there you go. There's the entire assembly. Now this is a good picture because it shows, what I was talking about with that shaft. So there's this outer sleeve just to keep the shock centered on the shaft, and then there's an inner shaft. This is aluminum. It looks dark like it's steel, but it's actually aluminum, and we're going to replace that with a steel shaft. Also, this rubber boot here, don't get distracted by that. That's going to come off. We will not be reusing that. All right, here I've removed the spring and the kind of the mounting collar, if you will, upper mounting collar from the other shock, and I put that on the new shock. This collar here has got a slit in it. You can't see that, but once the spring is loose, that collar just slips off, and then the spring comes off. So now I just put the spring on, then the collar. Tensioning nuts are here on the bottom. I just give those a couple turns so that everything kind of stays together. Then here I'm just reassembling that bottom shaft, and you can see that this is the new inner shaft, and then I'm putting on the shock and then the sleeves on the outside. There's some washers that go on the inside here as well. Those are already installed. This is the new part number. So this is the steel shaft, and so this is the one that you want. The RXC includes the steel shaft, but the regular ZRs do not. So in this case, I'm replacing it with that steel shaft. This is the number, and it was $65 retail price. Okay, here's the whole assembly going in. You can see now that reservoir is now going to be on the top. Just put it at an angle so that I can kind of slide it in between everything, and then I'll give it a turn once it's in place to get it lined up with the rails. I've got it kind of turned the way I want it to, and you can see that the reservoir now is pointed to the left. And I'll go ahead and bolt up the top of the shock absorber there and get that nice and tight, and then bolt up for the that shaft. One final thing that I got to do to the front track shock, once I get the bolts all torqued down, is I've got to make an adjustment to set the preload on that spring, and I'm just using the same preload that I had on the original shock. Okay, once that's done, now it's time to turn my attention to the rear track shock, and in this case, I'm loosening the bolts that hold on that torsion spring. I need to loosen that on both ends. And now that's loose. Now you can kind of see that, first of all, the saddle is gone. The spring is kind of swung out of the way. And here's the other end of that torsion spring on my side. The other one is kind of over here. One other thing I'll point out here is these bars here. So I think I mentioned that, but there's a bar on both ends. And we need it when we loosen this bolt, those will come off, and we just have to remember to put them back together the right way. Okay, here I'm loosening the bottom bolt, and the shock comes right out, and there's really nothing else that has to be done to the shock. All I have to do is mount the new shock. You can see that the reservoir now is underneath the shock body, and it's on the bottom of the shock body. So the reservoir is on the bottom and underneath. Here on my left hand, you can see that bar that I moved kind of out of the way so I could position the shock where it should go. Okay, and here's everything all added together. You can see those bars are back on that bolt. There was a couple bushings in here that I had to kind of add back in there to make sure everything was spaced correctly. You can see that both bolts are in place now. They're torqued down, and everything is put back together. You can see that here I've got the torsion springs kind of in position, but I don't have them fastened down yet. And now I'm adding those saddles. The saddle bolt is right up here. You can barely see it in the picture. It's kind of dark there, but we need to swing this up. What I would do is, if I wasn't taking pictures of this, is I would put my foot here on the other side so that I could hold with my legs, I could hold the rear suspension steady while I put this up in place. Or if you have a buddy that's standing around not doing anything, having a beer or whatever, you can have them stand here to lock it in place. So this just needs to swing up here. The bolt needs to go in this hole and then tighten down. We need to do that on both sides. Once you do that, then all the idler wheels can go back in place. And again, it's just a matter of putting the bolt through the hole and tightening up the nylon lock nut on the other side. There is a torque spec for these as well. And that's it to assembling the rear suspension. All right, the next step is to reinstall the rear suspension. And you can see here, this is a better picture of that shaft. So all we're going to do is put those forks from the front of the rear suspension onto that shaft. We never had to take the bolts out. The Arctic Cat rear suspension is really easy to take in and out. Okay, here we go. We're just starting to get it lined up. Here you can see those forks again. I need to get those on that shaft. Because of all the little knobs on the inside of the track, sometimes it's a little bit difficult to get it all lined up the first try. What we're going to need to do is swing this whole thing out towards the camera so that it will fit in there. Here you can see I'm getting it all lined up. And at first it looks like it might not fit, but trust me, it came out of there, it will fit. All right, so the forks are on the shaft there. It takes a little bit of patience to make sure that they sit there and they don't move. But in this case now, all I have to do is slide the rear of the rear suspension into the track. It's just a matter of getting around all those knobs in there to make it fit correctly. The easiest thing to do here is when you're at this position, the easiest thing to do is to swing this entire thing out, track and rear skid and everything out, till it's kind of pointed at that socket down here. Here you can see how it's a lot easier to swing it out like this. The handlebar stand that I'm using, I should have adjusted it to lower the snowmobile a little bit more, because it's really, the snowmobile's still kind of at an angle, and I think that made it a little more difficult to get all this put together. I should have had it leaning over a little bit more so that the bottom of the snowmobile was pretty much straight up and down, and it's still at kind of an angle there. There it is. everything is put back together. Now all I have to do is swing it back into place. Now here it's all ready to go. All I should have to do is put the bolt back on this nut back here. Let me show you that. But it's about an inch off. It's not lined up correctly. This is pretty normal. The way that these torsion springs work is they have a tendency to kind of twist this shaft out of the way. So one thing you can do is just not put the torsion springs back on until you've got these bolts on. For me, I just always end up, for whatever reason, I always like to have the rear suspension put back together, get it in place, and then I have another way of dealing with this, and that's a ratchet strap. But here's the that nut that I was talking about on the back side of that arm. You can see there's a couple flat spots there for a wrench. I use a 7/8 inch wrench. I believe it's probably metric, and maybe it's like a 21 or 22. I did not have the proper size wrench, so I used a 7/8, and that seemed to work. Okay, here's the ratchet strap, and all I'm doing is fastening the one end of the ratchet strap up here to the front someplace, and the other end, I'm wrapping it around that shaft. So the whole idea is to gently pull that shaft forward, and if it doesn't, let me tell you something with this, if you don't fasten it to the right spot over here, it's not going to move. Don't force it, okay? It should move pretty voluntarily if you do something like this. This is probably not the best way to do it. The best way would be to remove those, just to not fasten down those torsion springs, and then you can move it by hand. But this is kind of how I do it. It's probably not the correct way. Once you do one side, then what I do is I flip it over, but instead of rolling it over on the other side, which you could do, I just leave it this way. So now it's upright. I'm using a jack to raise and lower the bumper just a little bit to get that bolt lined up top to bottom, and then the ratchet strap is to get it lined up side to side. So once I get it right where I want it to be, then I've got the bolt in my left hand. I'm just going to hold onto the jack and thread the bolt in so that it stays there. Once it's in place, then it's easy to tighten. And we're done. That's it. Now it's all back together. And now what we need to do is a track alignment. So I'll raise the back of the snowmobile up, start it up, and then I'll do a track alignment. I've got a couple videos on that already, so I'm not going to cover that in this video, but right now it's a good idea to get that track tension set and the alignment set. Here we go, all back together. I did the track alignment and tension, and as you can see, it's all put back together. Looking good. It's kind of hard to tell, you know, just how good looking those track shocks are. The ski shocks, you can tell those look good too. I would say all said and done, I think I put about 4 hours into this project, front and back. The rear suspension took me about 2 hours, and that was just mainly because there's so much stuff to take apart and put together. The front suspension didn't take me near as long. Those were pretty easy, but in between there, I spent a lot of time taking pictures. And all right, thanks for watching. And I think this is going to be a great winter. I'm really looking forward to checking these AC5S shocks out. I think they're going to do really well, and looking forward to it. Just give you one more look there. And thanks for watching. I hope I see you on the trail.